There's just something about being reminded that no matter the era, no matter the genre, no matter the film, no matter the history or the experience, nothing quite compares to seeing yourself on the big screen and being reminded that Blackness, when it comes to culture, legacy, all of it, Blackness is the blueprint. It's not a trend, it's not a fad, it's the origin. Hey everyone, this is Movieman, fellow cinephile, popcorn addict, and emerging film critic, coming to you all with my out of the theater, briefly in the theater thoughts on a film that I have been anticipating for a while. If you guys have not had the chance to check out either of my trailer reactions on this film, please feel free to do that. But as far as this moment, I'm officially here to give my thoughts on Sinners. Directed by Ryan Coogler and starring Michael B. Jordan, Wunmi Mosaku, Jack O'Connell, Hailee Steinfeld, Delroy Lindo, and many, many more. Story-wise, this film is centered around twin brothers, Smoke and Stack, who find themselves caught between blood, betrayal, and a sinister legacy buried in the soil of their past. So, naturally, I'm going to start with the pros and oh my. Oh my, oh my, oh my, oh my. I think you can kind of gauge or kind of get a feel for where my head is at after walking out of the theater. Listen, I feel like I kind of said this in my trailer reactions, but Ryan Coogler is already a director that can sort of kind of do no wrong for me. Like, I know every director will have highs and lows, and I feel like if his only real semi-low, I don't consider it a low. Consider the circumstances, we know the situation, but Wakanda Forever, if that's what you would consider like a, not his best, then I think it says a whole lot about his direction and about his vision as a filmmaker in general. And I just appreciate what he brings to the world of film. And yes, as a director, but also as a Black director. And that's something I will always value and appreciate. And it's just something about Ryan Coogler, because I always find myself in some way or another just feeling connected. I truly feel connected to what's going on. I feel connected to my community in a sense. And Sinners is a film that absolutely did that. I was just like, whew, my people. I think it's just something about these eras and these periods of time where we have seen ourselves represented on the big screen, and it just reaches down in a different way. And man, I just found myself kind of feeling chills at certain points, especially there is a certain scene that takes place in this Juke joint, and I was not prepared. I was not ready. I mean, kudos. I mean, obviously I can't give it away, but it was such a visceral, distinctive, in-your-face moment that quite literally paid tribute to the impact of Black culture, Black artists, Black musicianship, and so much more. I honestly couldn't believe what I was watching. I'm not trying to put too much on it, but wow. It was a moment that really just hit me. And along with that, the music, the sound design, the cinematography, and the visuals, and the costume design, like, I can't even really go too deep into it because it just worked. And I found myself really paying attention to the camera work. Obviously I do that anyway because I'm a, emerging film critic, but I just really was just following the camera and just seeing all the interesting shots and the interesting ways in which he used it and moved around. I was so impressed. I was extremely impressed by this film, and it just felt so gratifying in so many ways to be able to watch this and experience this for many reasons. In addition, of course, to this being black horror, black horror, black horror. Black horror is my thing, and I love that we got to experience that also with this film. Now, jumping over to the performances, Michael B. Jordan. Let me say something really quickly. Do I think Michael B. Jordan is talented? Yes. Do I think sometimes that is overlooked in favor of how he looks? Yes. But I'd be willing to say this was likely one of his best performances. I mean, really. And I know when it comes to dual performances in a film, that can be something that either really, really works or really doesn't work. And I thought his embodiment of both smoke and stack was seriously on point. I thought it was great. And even though I was aware of the fact that obviously we are using movie magic to make these two characters, you know, move and breathe and operate together, I thought it was fairly seamless. I mean, I literally was buying into the fact that these were two brothers, obviously twin brothers, interacting, two very distinct personalities, two separate arcs. As far as what we learn about them, it felt real, it felt genuine, it felt fleshed out to an extent. And I must also say that it's really, really cool that we have yet another Black Panther alum who is taking on a dual role in a black horror film. Yes, shout out to Lupita Nyong'o in Us. She was absolutely robbed, for awards attention for that role. We already know how Hollywood and the Academy, the award shows are when it comes to horror films. So, I mean, I'm not really saying anything that's new, but I will also give credit to Miles Caton. I was not familiar with him as a musical artist prior to this film, but this was his film debut, and I thought he did a bang-up job. I think he was absolutely a standout character, and I think in many ways, in obvious ways, he embodies the heart of the film. And I'm always here for the newcomers, especially when it comes to black films and the black film industry as well, and seeing that, I love that. And I thought he did a really solid job. And listen, being a newcomer and hanging with acting heavy hitters like the ones in this film, it's not easy. So kudos to him. Along with his performance, I just thought his voice, the guitar playing, like all of that was wonderful. And considering that I mentioned the sound design, I love the fact that this really did tap into the beauty and the impact of black musicianship. As I said, black musicians, the blues, a sound that has given birth to so many other genres of music and subgenres even. And there was just something so resonant about the legacy that was being highlighted here. And I'm telling you, when I heard those strings getting plucked, when I heard those voices being raised, when I saw just the energy amongst the people, especially within the Juke joint, it was something that hit hard. And lastly, let me just say, I like that, especially when it comes to the ending, I like that this film wasn't afraid to show us something that was absolutely satisfying. I watched and I was just like, man, how cathartic. How wonderful. Absolutely satisfying, I must say. And kudos to Ryan Coogler for writing and coming up with that scene to close out the film, because yes, yes, yes. All right, now jumping over to the cons. You know how I am when it comes to runtime. Let me say that I technically did not have a problem with the runtime because I was very much invested for the duration of this film. However, when I think about the actual scope of the story and some of the pacing, I think this film feels a little bit bloated. Like, I think we could have trimmed the fat, especially considering where we end up story-wise. I will also say some of the effects, as far as the blood, the gore, the violence, I enjoyed a lot of that. There were some moments, though, where it looked a little weird. I'm not sure if it was supposed to look paint-like. There are a couple of moments where it reminded me of Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street, and that was intentionally done as an homage to the original stage musical. But here, there are moments where I was just like, some of this blood looks a little, odd. Like the colors and the tones aren't fully working for me. And lastly, I think that although the supernatural aspect of this film, I'm not going to spoil it if you haven't watched any trailers, I'm just going to zip it up. While that piece is very compelling, very interesting, you know, very tense and compelling to watch, I think that the lore and the mythology behind that is not fleshed out at all. I don't need to necessarily see some big explanation and flashback to the 1700s and guess what happened, and you know, a character saying da 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 da. You know, like, I don't need like these heavy dissertations or explanations, but I think considering that the supernatural piece kind of just slides in and we don't really learn that much about how it came to be, why it's really there, what its goal is, you know, like all of that tied into it, it was a little bit disjointed for me. I enjoyed seeing a lot of that play out, but as far as me genuinely understanding why these characters tied to the supernatural piece exist, why they're here, I didn't quite get that. And I think that definitely made elements of the film, at least narratively, feel fairly disconnected. But overall, I have to say, I really enjoyed this film. Ryan Coogler, he is a director I am always impressed by, not just because he's a black director, but also because he's a black director. And he just has such a visionary mind. And I love the fact that he is centering us in stories and narratives that we don't always get the chance to be a part of, especially like this. And considering all the people, I mean, you may have seen it already, but considering all the people that were walking past me as I was trying to film inside, and all of these cars and all these folks, I mean, you know, you probably won't see it because I'm trying to like stop and cut around it. But considering all the folks rolling up through here trying to see this, I think this is going to be a box office success, and I am here for it. Please, I love it. You know, support our black creators, support, you know, black storytelling in all its forms, independent as well. But yes, I really appreciated this. I think I'm going to have to give it a second watch to really sit, you know, and slide into my like, okay, this is really 100% how I feel. This is 100% what doesn't work. But as a whole, this was a great way to end my Thursday, you know, evening, kind of bringing the week to a close. Tomorrow's Friday. It's a chill day at work, sliding into the weekend as well. So yes, I love the fact that, much like this shirt says, a movie a day really does keep reality away. Shout out to Anthony A. Perez, because yes, this is his shirt that I bought, and I just think there's not a truer sentiment. Like, and I would know more than anyone. And it was so good to be able to leave work, go and watch this, get lost in this world, and, you know, and really see an aspect of myself, my culture, my people, my community reflected in this way. So, I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. So I think when it comes down to it, it's obvious I really did enjoy Sinners. But as far as you guys, let me know your thoughts down below. What do you think of Ryan Coogler? What did you think of Michael B. Jordan and the other actors, the performances, like all the things? How did you feel watching this? And also for my black subscribers, please tell me how you felt, you know, as attendees, you know, as a part of the audience. What did it feel like watching this? And, you know, how did it feel, you know, just seeing a film like this, seeing what it highlighted, what it was paying tribute to? Like, how did that impact you? Or if it didn't impact you, you know, but however you felt about it, I'm also really excited to hear what you guys have to say as well. So, once again, this is the Movieman signing off, and I'll see you at the movies.